4 habits that keep you poor. Habit 1. Living beyond your means. It all starts very innocently, by spending a little more than what we currently have. Taking out a small loan while waiting for payday. But over the years, this becomes one of the reasons why many people end up in debt. We live in a world where having material things is seen as something important. And it is normal to want to feel important and show what we can afford. New clothes, a new phone, a nice car, and a beautiful house. The problem is that people do this even when they cannot afford it. And when they lose their job, they feel like the whole world is falling apart. If this is your case, do not wait until it is too late to break this habit. It is surprising how much we focus on the desires of today and forget about the consequences of tomorrow. So what is the solution? What can you do to avoid falling into this financial trap? First of all, ignore what other people think about you and focus on using your money wisely. If you want to live in your dream house, travel and enjoy comfort, you need to take advantage of the present. Work hard, make an effort, and give up some things now so that in the future you can enjoy all of that with financial freedom. Think about this phrase. Being an entrepreneur means living a few years of your life like most people will not. So you can spend the rest of your life living like most people cannot. Habit 2. Buying things you do not need or almost never use. The second habit that steals your money is buying things you do not need or things you almost never use. I remember a few years ago, I had trouble controlling my shopping. I always had an excuse to buy a new dress, a pair of shoes, or a nice bag, a birthday party, a wedding, dinner with friends, presentations at university, and so on. My closet was so full, and yet I still felt like I had nothing to wear. Or I ended up wearing the same clothes every week. Little by little, I started to realize how much money I was throwing away. I took out all the clothes I was not using and kept only the pieces I truly liked. And to my surprise, it was very little. Right now, I have gone more than a year without buying clothes. And do you know what the best part is? I always have something to wear, and I feel like I do not need to buy more. Now it is your turn. Look around your house and find all those things you are not using, or almost never use. It could be books, clothes, shoes, decorations. And you can also include phone plans, cable, movies, and internet services. I say this because I know people who almost never watch television, yet they pay to have every channel. I also know people who pay for internet on their phone, even though they already have internet at home and at work. All of these are unnecessary expenses. Take a good look at what you have purchased. Make a list of all these things and decide what to do with them. Here are 3 options. 1. Donate them to charity. You will definitely make someone happy. 2. Have a garage sale. That way, you can recover some of your money. 3. Cancel services you do not need. And what should you do with future purchases? My husband and I discovered a simple rule to avoid wasting money. And it is this: everything we buy must be useful, necessary, and beautiful at the same time. But what happens with things that only meet one requirement? Let's say they are only beautiful. Then it has to be something extremely beautiful to you. Like a piece of art from your favorite painter. What about things that are useful and necessary? Necessary things are the things you need to live, like food and the things you need to do your job. For example, a photographer needs a good camera with the right equipment to take quality photos, while someone who only takes pictures once in a while can probably use the camera on their phone. And finally, useful things. These usually go hand in hand with necessary things. For example, a juicer instead of making juice manually. In my case, it is very useful because I make juice every day. And the machine saves me time and energy. Remember, small expenses add up to large amounts of money. Money that you could use to achieve some of your goals. Habit 3. Impulse buying. This happens when someone goes shopping without a plan and buys something because of a discount, a promotion, or an attractive advertisement, even though they were not originally planning to buy that product. This connects with the previous point, because this is how we end up buying things we do not really need or almost never use. Also, if someone has a credit card, they are very likely to spend money they do not actually have. Remember, just because you have not reached your credit card limit yet does not mean you can afford to buy more. Impulse buying is a dangerous habit for your wallet. I imagine you already know this very well. But what can we do to reduce impulse purchases? To begin with, you need to have clear rules before buying. It is not about never buying anything again. It is about learning to buy with intention, not emotion. Here are 7 simple ways to reduce impulse buying. 1. Make a shopping list. 2. Do not take the kids with you. 3. Do not buy more than you need. 4. Eat before going shopping. 5. Write down every purchase you make. 6. Sleep on it before buying. 7. Do not buy anything on credit. Of course, these are not the only ways to deal with the
delicious.
habit of impulse buying. For example, I once heard someone say that when he walks into a mall, he repeats this mantra in his mind over and over. I do not need it. I do not need it. I do not need it. But without a doubt, the best way is to not go into a store if you do not already have a planned purchase. It always works. Habit 4. Not having the habit of saving. Now let's talk about the 4th habit, not saving money, or better said, not having the habit of saving. There are so many people who live paycheck to paycheck, and they always have an excuse. I do not earn enough. I do not know how to do it. Life is too short. We need to enjoy the here and now. The problem is probably that they see saving money as an unpleasant obligation. But how can saving for your own well-being and your family's well-being be unpleasant? Without the habit of saving, you will never have money to start your own business. Invest in your personal growth or pay for a good vacation. Unless you sell everything or mortgage even your pet just to get the money. Saving should not be seen as a punishment, but as a tool that gives you options. Saving allows you to be prepared for an emergency, take advantage of an opportunity, and make decisions without always depending on loans or credit cards. It does not matter if you save very little at the beginning. What matters is creating the habit. You can start by setting aside a small amount every time you receive money, even if it seems tiny. Over time, that small amount begins to grow, and so does your discipline. The key is to pay your future self first before spending on things you do not need. If you wait to save whatever is left over, there will probably never be anything left. But if you set aside an amount from the beginning, you will learn to live with the rest, and your money will start working in your favor. What is the bad habit that makes you lose money?